That's powerful. And you know
Yeah.
what's so dope about that too? I just want to say, because I've kind of talked about this on this podcast, is like, I look at like the world, and I'm like, yo, people aren't having kids as much as they used to.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
when like our parents and stuff, they had a lot of kids,
Mm-hmm.
like I was an only child, but before that, my mom had like four brothers and, a sister. And then my dad had like four brothers, three sisters, something like that. Like it was very common, I
Gotcha.
feel like, back then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we always had these big families.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now, you look at people our age, and you're like, they lucky if they have one.
So it's interesting we're talking about this, right? Because my daughter called me earlier and she was like, Mom, like, are you supposed to date to marry? Or are you supposed to just date to date? And I
Mm,
said, well, no, the goal is to find someone that you truthfully want to spend your life with, but a lot of people aren't doing that these days. They kind
yeah.
of just get divorced and find somebody else. And not to say that there's anything wrong with that at all. I feel like there's some points when you definitely need to do that. But I was telling her the goal is ultimately to find somebody that you feel like you can spend your life with and,
Yeah.
raise a family and have a family with. And she was like, well, a lot of my friends are telling me I should just be dating, like just date to date. Like I shouldn't be looking for marriage, and don't
Mm,
worry about marriage because marriage is just a pit, and everybody that's married is not happy. They're not happy, and they're, all the suffering and all that
mm,
stuff. And I'm like, that's not true. I think we get
yeah.
more of those put out there, right? Like all the blogs and everything else that they love to tell us when people are cheating on each other, Will Smith and Jada, that whole thing,
Yeah.
and we don't really focus in on, the end result of you dating or getting out there and seeing what's out there is for you to eventually say, oh, this is a person I want to spend my life with, this person. And then the kids kind of come and all that other good stuff. So anyway,
Yeah.
interesting.
Nah, that's powerful. And it's kind of funny because I'm one that always says like, okay, date a lot, but I don't mean date a lot. When I say that though, I say date longer with the person that you're
Mm-hmm.
interested in, so you could tell if they are for you.
If they're,
Because
yeah.
a lot of times people date for 2 months and then they end up in a relationship, and it's like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of amazing relationships that started that way.
Yeah.
However, just looking at a lot of stuff, it's like, how do you really know? It takes time to get to know someone,
Oh,
know,
facts. It
right?
takes years. Me and my
Yeah.
husband have been married for, what year are we in? What year is this? 2021?
Yeah.
Well, 21 years this year.
Wow. Congratulations. That's powerful.
I'm just knowing
Giving
who
you a
this
gun
dude
show.
is. Like, I just now know who this dude is. 21 years
Yeah.
later.
And it's crazy because people develop, you know what I'm saying? In those 21 years, he's probably changed 3 times, 4 times, like
Facts.
big changes. Obviously people change
Yeah.
every year, but three major shifts in his,
Yeah.
personality, just like
I
you.
mean, as you get older, you progress and
Yeah.
you want different things, and then things change, and then you get to a point, and then of course you have family that passes away, that changes it's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a lot. So you go through all those different ebbs and flows, I'll call them,
Yeah.
in life, and you become a different person, they become a
Mm.
different person. So you kind of have to re-meet again and kind of develop again and grow. And then your kids get older, they start acting crazy. That's a whole thing in itself. So, but this is called therapy podcast.
Hey, nah, this is what we talk about. This is the real stuff. So don't be, I mean, these are the real type of conversations that we have, because normally talks about that. But, for anyone that's like has that same ideology or same question as your daughter, like, I would just say, I think the intent is to find someone to marry or to be with it.
Yeah.
Even if it's not marry, you want to be able to find that person to spend the rest of your life with.
Yeah.
So it's like, in dating, yes, just don't jump to anybody. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, you want to, get to know the person, make sure that they're really for you. Don't just take someone because they look good, or don't just take someone because they have money, or it's a good time romantically. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
times people, those things, they just pick person, but they don't really get to know them. And I always tell people, kind of think of it like a friendship. Like, how like let's say one of your best friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes time to say, yo, that's your best friend.
Exactly.
So it should go the same way with your lover. And in turn, your lover should be like your bestest friend.
Yeah. And and for a long time I struggled with that because I felt like I can't tell him everything, you know, like from when my girls, I could tell them, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
pretty much, you know, but it's like other stuff was like, I'm not telling him that. Like, yeah.
Mm.
But we did get to a place in a space where it was like, you know, he told me that. And I was like, wow, that's pretty powerful and it's pretty dope because I know he has some guy friends that are like his bros, you know, that are like, you know, but it's like, oh, wow. Like, you know, I'm above them or not above them, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
we
no,
would
like
rather, you know,
they'd rather talk to
so
you,
it's
and
cool.
I think that's how it should be. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, we definitely have. We always have things that we don't want to tell everybody, and we
Yeah.
maybe feel other people will relate to more. But I mean, at
Hmm.
the end of the day, I think that's when that feeling is really, really super strong.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, like when I
Yeah.
always see people, and I'm like, yo, they're like amazing friends, and it's like, if you know, it's like, oh, that's the bond. You know what I'm saying? Like when I see a couple and I see that bond, it's like that's what it's about, you know, not just
Exactly.
because of other reasons. So that's super
Yeah.
powerful. And just the fact of that, like I said, I love the fact that you do have 6 kids, because where I was going with the other message was like,